Well, now on Central, this night time begins with the Midlands Area Middleweight Championship. Fight Night.
This fight night returns to the domestic scene with a title fight from the West Midlands. It's for the vacant Midlands Middleweight Championship, and it's between two Birmingham boxers, Antonio Fernandez and Paul Wesley. Good evening from a new venue, the Haden Hill Leisure Centre, where the promoter is one of the Midlands' biggest boxing heroes, Pat Cowdell. Now, over the last few weeks, Fight Night has been coming to you for some pretty exotic locations, such as Los Angeles and Bangkok. But now we've returned to the grassroots of British boxing, which in the past has provided us with some excellent contests. Well, Pat Cowdell twice fought for the World Championship, but these days he makes his living from the small halls. Now, what do they offer, the small hall fights?
Well, the main difference between small hall boxing and world title fights is that you see even money matches, Gary. You see kids here who perhaps will never fight for a title in their life, but they come in here and they spill the blood for the game. This is what boxing is all about.
And what can we expect from the top of the bill tonight?
I think it'll be a very good fight. Paul Wesley's a decent fighter. He's only won half his fights, but he's fought some good class fighters like Wally Swift, Neville Brown, people like this. Fernandez lost a split decision to Silky Jones, who is a Central Area champion at the moment. And I think it's an even money match. You're going to see a good fight.
Good, well, let's have a look at it then. It's the vacant Midland Championship for the middleweight division. All area title fights, by the way, are scheduled for 10 rounds. Before we join our commentary team of Reg Guttridge and Jim Watt, though, let's first of all hear from our regular Master of Ceremonies on Fight Night, Vince Miller.
Gentlemen, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the main event of the evening. 10 rounds of boxing, 3 minutes each round for the Middleweight Championship of the Midlands. Presenting in the blue corner from Birmingham, Paul Wesley. And in the red corner from Birmingham, Antonio de Fernandez. The official weigh-in, Wesley scaled 11 stone 4 pound, Fernandez 11 stone 5 3/4 pound. Your officials appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control are as follows. Your Chief Steward in charge, Mr. Norman Giles. From Stoke-on-Trent, Mr. Norman Mannix is your timekeeper. And your referee from Wolverhampton, Mr. John Coyle. This is the main event of the evening.
Very quick rundown always by John Coyle, world-class referee by the WBC, and Pat Cowdell, promoter manager there, bit of a Midlands hero, of course. That's Fernandez corner. I just ushered him back. Doesn't want any boxing before the bell, thank you. So Paul Wesley then in the blue trunks, and Antonio Fernandez, which is first two names actually, his real name is Golding. So it's a first title attempt now by Fernandez, and Wesley having his third attempt. He lost to John Ashton, and John Ashton vacated this middleweight championship of the Midlands area. And Wesley also fought Wally Swift. So it's very much a push-up in class by Fernandez, but obviously manager Pat Cowdell, who really can know the game better than he does, with a great amateur and of course pro career, and so close a couple of times to the World Championship, and always met one of the superstars, Cowdell. He's switching stance now. I saw Paul Wesley get a good draw in London with Tony Collins, and that was on a Colin Macmillan bill at the Royal Albert Hall. Can't remember from that fight, Jim, whether he was switching regularly or staying southpaw.
Well,
I think Collins did a lot of pressing in that fight. I thought actually Collins had nicked the verdict. I thought he should have got it, but nevertheless, an excellent performance from Wesley. I don't think he switched that night because it was pretty hot action. But I like the way he started this round, you know, feinting and threatening but staying just out of range. But now he started backing off and he's allowing Fernandez to get his punches off. I think Wesley should be backing this fellow up. But you can see his experience, the way he moves around the ring confidently, you know, threatening and feinting, trying to draw mistakes from Fernandez. Not a lot has happened in the first round, but both have a good look at each other and there's still 9 rounds to go.
Yeah, I think they're getting rid of a little bit of the local fever tension out of the system, I would have thought. Really testing each other out here. Look at this, waiting for one to make a mistake. Well-known family, actually. Fernandez and Golding, his brother Ray, Midland ABA champion, and his cousin Clyde McIntosh, who didn't turn pro but was a Commonwealth bronze medalist.
Well, Wesley, as I say, nice feinting and nice stalking here, but he's not getting his punches off quickly enough. And Fernandez nicking the leads home, just maybe stealing the first round.
Well, that's some noise, but that sounds like there's a ship docking somewhere. And there's Pat Codell, of course, blowing in the air all the knowledge that he's gained over the years, but it's a little difficult to perform sometimes. And there's the rundown then. No chicken in the game, actually, Fernandez at 27. He's won 6 in a row, though, since losing an 8-rounder to Paul Jones in Stoke. So he's certainly in good form. Never been knocked out or stopped, this fellow, or floored, in fact. There's Paul Wesley with Nobby Nobbs in the corner. Knows the boxing business on the circuit all the time, and there's his record. And a very handy fighter. I was very impressed with him with Tony Collins. He was quite highly rated in the Frank Warren camp. Out for the second then of the scheduled 10 for the vacant Midlands area middleweight championship. 11 stone 5 3/4. A reminder, Fernandez and Wesley is 11-4. Good muscle formation, both fighters, you know, they look in great shape, don't they?
Yeah, they both look powerful performers. Wesley looks very dangerous, the way he stalks, keeps his chin low and then bends the knees as he moves forward, but he hasn't produced anything yet in the first round. But you always get the feeling he's going to come over with a real powerful hook. So I think if Fernandez wants to make use of his legs, just step out of harm's way and keep poking that left jab in.
Wesley always, he goes looking for the opposition, that's his style, just trying to weave his way in like that, and just an old-fashioned feint there, trying to make the opposition lead there, and Fernandez wasn't having anything of it. Appears to be a little wary of each other, Jim, it surprises me.
Well, I think the problem with Wesley's style, he doesn't throw enough punches, and once you've done this for 3 or 4 rounds, if you're losing the rounds, then you've then you're really depending on a knockout victory, so a little bit of panic sets in. I really think Wesley wants to throw a bit more punches. I know we have plenty of time in this actual fight, but he wants to throw some more punches. He's just really threatening and feinting at the moment.
Johnny almost dazzled with those yellow bands around his gloves there. Wesley, and will dazzle the opposition as well. That's a bit better now. So Fernandez doing the opening up and the double punching. So there it is, liven up quite a bit now in the second, and the countdown clock.
Well, Fernandez using the right tactics, not allowing Wesley to get close.
All calm and collected there in Fernandez's corner, I must say. Probably saying, okay, I know it's your first championship, now you've got to start opening up. Jim, have another look at this in replay.
Yeah, well, Fernandez making good use of his feet, just keeping a little bit of space between him and Wesley, getting more punches off than Wesley. So in my book, he's nicked the first couple of rounds. Not a tremendous amount of drama in the first couple of rounds, but I think Fernandez has just about nicked him.
Out for the third round. And referee Cole making sure there's nobody darts out too early. That was all started really by Lloyd Hannigan, flying off his stool and clobbering a yank almost before the bell finished sounding, really, but he was in order to do so, but nobody appreciated it at the time.
Well, a good fast action from Fernandez at the beginning of this round, Reg.
I think got a little slight ear bashing from Pat Codell in the corner there. He knows he's got to open up a bit. He's got to go for the titles. These area championships are always good stepping stones to be nominated for British titles, of course.
Well, I don't really know if Fernandez wants to get overly involved with this fellow. He's very powerful, very dangerous looking fighter, Wesley. I think Fernandez is doing the right thing, just making use of the legs. Just stepping back, slipping the jab home, just slightly outworking Wesley. Get as many rounds in the bag as you can before the real hard stuff starts. Because I think eventually Wesley's going to have to open up and this is going to develop into a real hard battle.
Gets a bit of leverage into that right hand, Wesley, I'll tell you that. He's flat-footed, anchors himself and then unleashes that punch.
It seems as though Wesley spends a couple of rounds sorting out how best to get up close, and once he's done that, then he moves in, lets the punches go. But he's had a couple of lazy rounds, and he's just not getting close enough at the beginning of the third round here. So he's just getting these little jabs are still scoring points, and breaking his concentration, not allowing Wesley to be effective in the least.
Minute to go in the third.
Fernandez again stealing another round, Reg, and I think with a title at stake, he's as well doing this for as long as he can get away with it. As long as he's winning rounds, he's getting something else in the bag, so he doesn't want to take chances. Although, when he's set to work here, it looks as though he has as much power as Wesley has. Good boxing from Fernandez.
Maybe a little wary, Fernandez. Remember, he's not gone beyond the 8 rounds limit yet. Round 5. And a reminder then, scheduled for 10 rounds, a vacant middleweight championship with the Midlands area. Antonio Fernandez in the black trunks of Birmingham and Erdington. Taken a little while to catch fire, but now that it has, it could be a real hard battle now in the second half of the fight.
Well, Wesley started a little bit quicker getting down to work in this round again. I think he must realise he's let a couple of rounds slip away from him. So he's really going to have to pressurise this fellow, knock him out of his stride. Good right hand punching from Wesley, doubling up.
Area championships are fought over 10 rounds and not the British championships or world at 12.
Right! Step back.
Referee John Coldham having no trouble at all keeping this one under control. I mean, good referee always stays out of the picture anyway. He's been able to do that.
Come on!
They're getting at it now at close quarters all right now. They're starting to unleash them close in.
Yeah, well, Wesley forcing Fernandez to stand his ground now and work. But Fernandez responding well, quite prepared to stand and keep the punches coming. And we'll see if Wesley sustains the action this time. He's done not so badly in this round.
Picking them well on the sort of semi-retreat there, Fernandez. He was laid back, he was picking them off well. That's what the old fight scribes used to call milling on the retreat. Picks them off well, Jim, as Wesley comes in.
Yeah, there's a bit more purpose in Wesley's work now, Gino. He's coming close and getting the punches off quicker. So Fernandez finding it a little bit more difficult to keep under control. Far better action now. Fernandez still doing all right, still nicking the points with that jab. But far better action now, far more excitement in the fight.
On the attack now, Fernandez, Jim, in this bit.
Well, Fernandez had been backed off actually. Wesley a lot more purpose in his work then. You know, he really wanted to get down to some action, so we'll see if he can sustain that in the next round. He really forced Fernandez to bring out some work, and Fernandez brought out some nice work. Just stuck to his guns, started trying to regain control. That was a good round, I'd say the best round of the fight so far, that one.
Round 6. Good start by Fernandez in the black trunks, and then Wesley clawing quite a bit back. How have you got it, Jim? Halfway, just over halfway.
Fernandez in front at the moment. He nicked a few of the early rounds, and then in the couple of rounds where Wesley has forced him to work, he's come out with some decent work. So I feel Wesley has it all to do here, but I think he realises the same, because he's a different man in the last couple of rounds. Really purposeful fighter now.
It's a real kind of rough and tumble pro fight, this, Jim. I like the fact that they're not holding on too much. It's been untidy, but still banging away there.
Yeah, well, since Wesley moved up the gear, that's what's really sparked the fight right into life. Because whereas Fernandez was managing to nick the early rounds, now he's having to grit his teeth and really battle for every round now. Far better action. Wesley really pumping the punches out now.
Yeah, Wesley, you know, he can do the business. He had a sensational win over Neville Brown, who was very hotly favoured in the Midlands in the first round, although he did lose the replay on points. He's going to bring in the experience a bit now, Wesley, and rely a bit more on stamina. As I said, Fernandez hasn't been beyond 8.
Fernandez is becoming just a little bit ragged now, Reggie. He was in full control the first 3 or 4 rounds. Nice movements, all at his own pace, but he's becoming a little bit more ragged now. I think Wesley beginning to get to him now, breaking his rhythm a little bit. Having said that, Fernandez still gritting the teeth and battling back for every point. He's finding it a little bit tougher than he was earlier on.
Right in front of the camera, just as the cameraman wants it there, they've exchanged those punches at long range. Real tit-for-tat stuff.
The action getting far tougher now. They're both having to stand their ground. Wesley has raised the pace, forced Fernandez to work, and we're seeing a lot of good work here. A lot of real hard slugging, as we can see in this round. Yeah, well, Wesley sustaining the work more than he was earlier.
Out for round 7. Wesley really rips those right-hand punches in from the body. He's just switched again to the southpaw right-hand forward style. Wesley's got an American style really, Jim, but he's just lazy with it, isn't he? He doesn't throw it. That's all very well for me to say, but if only he did, he'd be a much higher class fighter.
Yeah, well, the last couple of rounds, he's more continuity about his work. He hasn't just been throwing the odd single shots. But Fernandez, I don't know if maybe he's feeling the pace, but he hasn't made the use of his legs that he was making earlier. Just getting a bit of space between himself and Wesley, making Wesley's leads miss. He's been standing his ground a bit more, and Wesley has enjoyed that. Having said that, it's made the action a lot better. But I feel Fernandez should be making use of his legs, just stepping out of trouble. He's beginning to do it just as I'm saying it here.
Wesley shows all those signs of experience. I mean, he's fought 6 fighters who have either fought for or won British championships. And then De La Quila, who then went on for the next fight to fight for the world title. So, you know, he's really been in the sun, and also Steve McCarthy, people like that, hard nuts, and the draw with Tony Collins.
Fernandez, now and again, a little bit dangerous with his head, the way he's ducking down and then stepping forward. It's a little bit dangerous with that.
Well, that was a bit of a spectacular burst, and Fernandez says, OK, I'll have some of that.
I think Wesley realises he's given Fernandez a little bit of a start. So he's the one who has to set the pace now to get that gap closed.
Trying a second look at that. They're head to head in every sense, and a good flurry of punches. That's really caught the cameraman's eye as much as Fernandez there, Jim. And then he comes straight back again, Fernandez. See, no clinch at all. They're just a load of punches. Round 8. Definitely pulling back that lost ground, isn't he, Wesley?
Yeah, there's been a marked improvement in Wesley's work in the last 3 rounds or so. This is the kind of battle that suits Wesley. Now that Fernandez has settled down on his feet a little bit more, Wesley gives him that split second longer to get the punches off. I think Fernandez is trying to get back to the early stuff again, making use of the jab. Just keep Wesley a little bit away from him.
Yeah, he looks good when he does that. He's very, very sure of himself, Fernandez, with that left-hand jab.
I think Fernandez's work has lost a little bit of its quality, Reg, and it's
and they're yelling work, work. Tony, obviously Fernandez from the corner and from the crowd, and see, the crowd can sense that he shouldn't be throwing it away. It's certainly not over yet, Jim, by any means. I mean, he got off to a good start, and it's how John Coyle is going to interpret this now.
Yeah, we're really having some close rounds. I thought Fernandez was clearly winning the first 3 rounds. There were some close rounds since, and then once again Fernandez has answered the call. A tough round, and he's managing to dig deep and try to finish it on top.
Oh, it's a good battle now. Started off very wary of each other, and now they're giving all.
Well, Fernandez seemed to be slipping. I was just saying the quality of his work was slipping, but he's pulled his socks back up again. And they're just gritting the teeth and banging the punches out.
Certainly, manager Cardell banged his hands on the canvas when Fernandez had that couple of punches that looked like it got Wesley in trouble. As we come up to the end of the 8th round, well, they certainly turned out 2 very worthy contenders for the Midland Area Championship, didn't it? That was vacated by John Ashton.
So once again, Fernandez a little bit dangerous with his forehead. You know, he bends down and then steps in towards Wesley. Thankfully, there have been no clashes of heads.
Few bruises of battle, I think, but luckily no cuts. I'm glad to see that.
Fernandez can't keep Wesley at bay the way he was doing earlier. He's finding it really tough now.
That lead of Fernandez, Jim, is going to carry a lot of weight, doesn't it? Depends how referee Coyle's going to see this, whether he thinks Wesley's made up sufficient ground or not, and I'm beginning to doubt that he has.
Well, I think the 3-round start that Wesley has given him has just been too much in a 10-round fight. See, we've had quite a few close rounds. Referee Coyle probably scored a couple of the middle rounds even, so it doesn't give Wesley a lot of rounds to turn it all the way around. So I feel maybe Fernandez just still that little bit in front, and he has responded well. Just whenever Wesley looked as though he's taken command, full credit to Fernandez. He's dug deep and banged himself right back into the action. He's never allowed Wesley to get control. Accurate long shots again from Fernandez. I think he's just keeping himself slightly in front of him.
It's a good old hard battle indeed this, when we come up to the end of this round. 1 to go. Oh dear, I hope he's a bit more accurate with that than he is with some of his punches, and us sitting at ringside. Otherwise the umbrellas go up. So the very final words then from Nobby Nobbs, almost as the bell goes for Wesley. And big cheers indeed now at this Leisure Centre in the Midlands for the final 3 minutes of the Midland Area Middleweight Championship. You notice there how referee Cole tries to make them break without handling them like that, otherwise boxers get lazy and they wait for the referees to pull them apart. Turned into a real good fight at the finish, Jim, isn't it, this last few rounds?
Yeah, it's been a real good battle from about the 4th round onwards, Reg, with some real cracking rounds. A couple of rounds I found it difficult to score one way or the other. Good quality punching, two good pros at work. Okay, even at this stage, a little bit of sharpness now reappearing in Fernandez's work. Fernandez's left jab has really worked well all the way through this contest. A few times it looked as though Wesley was just going to overpower him, but it never really happened.
Punch themselves out a little bit now, Jim. As close as we are to the action, they're really breathing heavily, these two.
And it's been a fair old pace all the way through, Reg. Okay, Wesley had a kind of lazy start, but he certainly made up for that from the 4th round onwards, so I think they're entitled to be feeling a little bit weary.
Fernandez has really fought out of his skin in this contest. Punched himself up, and I think a bit of help from the famous corner man, and he's done it well, Fernandez. I think he'll get it all right now. Now that's really clinched it, Jim. The knockdown in the last round, a lot of tiredness, of course, but credit Fernandez with the punching power as well. Hands up, Cole is saying.
I don't think it was tremendous punches that put him over, Reg. Just an accumulation of punching, I think, a little bit of weariness. Yeah. Because his eyes were perfectly clear as he went on the floor. I think it was as much tiredness as anything else.
As he went back to the corner, Jim, I said to you at the end of that 9th round, he looked very tired, Wesley.
I would say he needs a knockout now, Reg.
Yeah, he's unlikely to get that because Fernandez has never been on the floor, let alone stopped. So you'll get an instant decision here. There'll be no totting up the scores. There it is. Too late for a count out anyway. So there it is. Right away, Fernandez. There was no question about the finish. He really sealed that victory with a knockdown in the last round. And sporting gesture there from Wesley's corner, a little bit of applause. And he looked as though he was being highly tested, Tony Fernandez, for this one. But he came through it, to use the old cliche, with flying colours. And what a lovely finish it is too. All mates together.
The left jab and Pat Cowdell's coaching, I suspect, got you through that one?
Yes, it did. Very much so. It did, very much so. I think I could have done better. It was very awkward. It took me a couple of rounds to suss out what kind of style he is. I mean, he throws a lot of overhand rights. So I was trying to protect myself more than anything else and trying to use my jab to my forward advantage, being a lot longer reach.
You say it took some time to suss him out. In fact, I think you won the fight in the early rounds, really.
Oh, yeah. But he's got a very awkward style. I can't take nothing away from him. He's very good. I mean, he fought Tony Collins and drawed with him. He fought Neville Brown, knocked him out the first time and beat him and lost the second time round. But he's a very fit guy and he's good. Can't take nothing away from him. But I know I'm better. Truth tonight.
What difference has Cowdell made to you?
Oh, well, he's a very good trainer. A lot of people don't think he can train, but he knows what he's doing. Fitness, that's what it's all about, fitness. That's what, you know, if you've got style, which I have, fitness is the only thing that will bring me through anything. I can take a punch.
That might be the difference at the end of the fight, because I think, with all respect to you, he went down through tiredness as much as...
Oh, yes, that's it. I mean, it's winning this game, isn't it? It's about winning. It's about winning.
Well, it is about winning. You don't get anywhere if you lose.
That's right.
But where do you go from here?
Well, I'm open for anything else. I mean, I'll fight anybody, if the money's right. And see how things go.
Well, certainly that is Tony Fernandez's best performance. Well, now let's have a look at another Pat Cowdell boxer, the very promising welterweight Howard Clarke from Worley. He's won all 3 contests to date, including one we saw recently at Alfreton. He's up against the more experienced Dave Andrews from Merthyr.
And this looks like being a very lively welterweight contest with Howard Clarke in those, well, very flashy red and white trunks. Won all 3 contests. But it's a bit of a step up for him here because Dave Andrews has been around a bit, 15 fights. A very gritty backer I've seen, and a lot better than his actual record suggests. Comes from Merthyr Tydfil. That's been a breeding ground of some great fighters. Eddie Thomas, Howard Winston. Certainly Clarke from well, local Worley, Cowdell country. And he boxed in 4 successive ABAs, but he always seemed to draw the top man early on and lost to the Olympian Mark Elliott. But he won 4 bouts to become Midlands ABA champion. Made his pro start at Dudley last October, which was on a fight night programme. Say this for Cowdell's manager, Clarke, Jim. He doesn't look for easy fights for him. He wants to find out whether he can fight early on and not have to wait too long.
Yeah, I think this kid Clarke can fight, Reg. I've seen him once before. Very impressed with him last time out. He's good fast hands. He's got good body movement from the waist. He slips and sways and nice partner. Lovely right hand. He's just wobbled Andrews with a lovely right hand punch there. Andrews recovered quickly, but that was a good shot. Yeah, as I say, I like everything about Clarke, and I think he's the kind of fighter, as long as you don't get him involved in wars, you can take a chance with him. I don't think he'll take too long to move up in class.
And he got a lot of sucker chance to go with him there, Howard Clarke, but doesn't really help him. Once that bell goes, they're on their own.
Punch again in. Right, step back. Both in, step back.
Got a good variety of punching, that's what I like about Clarke.
Yeah, punches from all directions, and then the nice thing, when he misses with a punch, he just gets the chin tucked down, slips to the side, doesn't take the counter. Good boxer, Good box fighter. That looks like a solid right hand punch he's throwing too.
Yeah, he's 24, so he's very matured. I prefer boxers to start throws over 20, really. End of the first round then coming up.
Right! Step back.
Oh, he nearly dropped him right on the bell with that. Well, that certainly got the crowd at it and hurt Dave Andrews, I must say. Already a little blue, you can see there around the left eye. He's got the trainer Gary Thomas in the corner. His manager actually, Darren Gardner's not here.
Here we go.
This fellow from Wales was originally with the great Eddie Thomas, Merthyr idol really, and became a house fighter down at the Northampton club. Round 2.
No. Right! Step back, Bob.
Both got high guards to them, haven't they? Oh, that's got...
Yeah, but the difference, Clarke doesn't have a lot of trouble opening up Andrews' guard. And he's, I mean, considering we've only completed one round, the Andrews really is banged up. Some blood there seeping from his left eye, a bit of bruising around the eye. So accurate punches Clarke throws.
Very good performance by Clarke at the moment, because I said he's a very gritty fighter, Dave Andrews.
Right, here we go, step back.
Went in a bit above his head with Birmingham's Robert McCracken, but other than that, he's had a few decent wins on his card. He's had the opponents on the floor, actually, in his last 3 fights, Andrews. But he looks as though he's got to do something special to do that here.
No. Once you get it, right!
See, Clarke really has sharp reflexes, so Andrews is not getting his punches home, just slipping the chin away at the last split second. But good fast hands himself, Clarke has. I think he's one to watch for the future.
He's a willing warrior, though, the Welshman.
Yep, he realises he has to push this young fellow back. He can't afford to back off it and be in the end of those long straight punches. He's trying to push Clarke back, but not pinning him down and taking some counters.
Minutes ago then in the second.
No, pull him in, we'll get it.
Good quality stuff for the 4-rounder class, Jim, isn't it?
Yeah, not half. I like the way Clarke puts punches together. If the first punch doesn't get through, he just keeps rolling and pumping the punches out. Andrews trying to get a little bit closer now, nullify the work.
Right, step back, both there, step back.
Well, they're doing as they're told. Not surprised, big fellow like that bellowing the orders. There it is then, coming up for the end of the second. Oh, what a good little burst of punches there by Clarke. And that was the variety I was telling about there. Left to right, and then finished with an uppercut. Now then, this is where Clarke's on the go again here, Jim.
Yeah, well, perfect balance, Reg. Knows all the punches, knows all the moves, doesn't take too many punches himself. And that right hand again, that's been a danger punch as far as Clarke's concerned all the way through. Good, accurate right hand punching.
Third round. And this is welterweight, 10 stone 8 Clarke, and 10-9 Andrews. Taking some stick, Andrews, and he's always willing to try and trade back, isn't he?
Yeah, see Andrews keeps his chin down, so he's taking the punches high on his forehead. His eyes have been pretty badly banged up, but he's not taking the shots from the chin. Maybe just a bit too much damage now.
He wants a closer look. No, it's all over. He was really trying to have a go, Andrews, there. I don't think imagine people booing that because they just don't realise the extent of an injury. I mean, that really is crazy. Referee's had a much closer look at it, and he's just shaking hands there with the promoter.
It is a bad injury, Reg.
Yeah, of course.
Badly swollen and cut at the same time below his left eye.
Now the referee's
bad
done the
facial damage.
Referee's done the right thing. Well, now we can see the finish here again, Jim.
Well, I think we're pretty satisfied who the better man was, Reg. Clarke was on his way to a victory. Andrews badly banged up, and then when the swelling under his left eye opened up into a cut, the referee had to stop the fight. Did the right thing. Yeah, some bad facial damage there.
Well, it was the correct decision, obviously, to stop that fight. Well, Fight Night will be back with you in 2 weeks' time when we return to World Championship Boxing. The programme comes from Los Angeles and features one of the most destructive pound-for-pound boxers in the business. He's the Mexican Humberto Gonzalez, and he'll be defending the WBC light flyweight title against the unbeaten Domingo Sosa of the Dominican Republic. So that's Fight Night from Los Angeles in 2 weeks' time. Gonzalez the champion against Sosa the challenger. It's on Tuesday, March the 17th. Well, at the beginning of this programme, Pat Caldell said that small horse shows often produce even money matches. They certainly did on his promotion tonight. Tony Fernandez becoming the new Midlands middleweight champion. And with Pat Caldell behind him, who knows, this may well be a good stepping stone for him. For now, good night.